Hello and thank you for joining me. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today's lesson is food magic and how it works. So today I'm going to show you how you can work with your everyday foods and drinks as a form of practical occultism. And as always, I'm not saying that this is the truth, but these are general principles and theories of occultism that you can take this information and try it out and see how it works for you. So these are the theories behind magic and practical occultism. So you could, just like you have talismans, just like with mojo hands and bottle spells and things like that, if you're able to put your intentions into an object or a vessel that is a representation of your desire, then you can also do this with your foods and drinks, which you will then eat or drink. So this is almost like a sort of Eucharist, okay? It's like a Eucharist of intent. And what I'm talking about today doesn't really come from any specific magical tradition, and yet you see this concept in many different traditions of magic. So first of all, from a religious perspective, in the Catholic Church, you have the Eucharist, in which regular bread and wine is believed to be converted into the actual flesh and blood, soul and divinity of Christ. So as an example of this type of thinking, where objects that are getting consumed somehow become divine or imbued with special power, you see this concept in the Catholic Church. And of course in Hoodoo, I made a video recently on sugar magic and how sweetening spells can be used in cooking to get people to get along, to be nicer to each other. And then, in your Western Hermetic alchemical tradition, you have the idea of spagyrics and tinctures, which are themselves a sort of edible talisman. So in Paracelsian alchemy and plant alchemy, you may work with a certain herbal tincture during the appropriate planetary hours and days, and then this is consumed as a talisman. So in different forms of magic, in different traditions, you see this concept of food magic. Okay, so basically how this works is you imbue your food with an intention, a specific goal, and then you eat this or consume it. Okay? Now, as a side note, before I go any further, I just want to remind my viewers that new videos come out every Saturday morning. So every Saturday morning, you'll see new videos on practical occultism. So that's every week. So if you stay tuned and subscribe, then you'll learn about all various different traditions of this. Okay? So basically, imbue your foods with intentions and consume them. Okay? So how does this all work? Okay, I'll try to break this down as simply as I can. You're making your food into a representation of your desire. Now, how can you do this? You can do this by speaking your intention, focusing on your intent while you prepare the food. It's basically that simple. So, whenever you're preparing the food, focus on your goal, focus on your intentions. Each thing that you do, focus upon your desire. If it's for prosperity, you may carve a little $ in it. You may pray over it, or just like a prayer, but without the religious connotations. If you're not religious, speak your intentions. So everything you do while cooking should be focused upon the one single purpose or goal. Now, in practical occultism and magic and different traditions, there is the idea that different stones, different herbs, different plants are believed to have occult properties to them. So that, you know, rosemary has occult properties, garlic, onion, all of these things are believed to have occult properties to them. Now, there are two ways of looking at this. From one perspective, they actually are believed to have the occult properties. From the other perspective, it's all just symbolic. It's just a way to focus your intention. But if you read Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, if you study any magical tradition, it could be Hoodoo, it could be different Western ceremonial magic traditions, like you see in the grimoires, many different traditions of magic in your Wiccan and different forms of eclectic neo-pagan forms of practical magic. In different magic traditions, different herbs are believed to have occult properties. And many of these are used as spices. So that garlic is seen to drive away impurities. Salt is seen as protective. Rosemary is said to bring fidelity in a marriage, peace in the home. Sage is for driving away impurities. Chamomile is good for calming, and yet also is believed to be good for prosperity. So coriander is good for love. Rice in some cultures is a symbol of prosperity, as is wheat. Think of wheat as a symbol of abundance. Beans, different forms of legumes, are seen in some traditions to represent prosperity, good luck, which here in the United States, you eat beans for good luck. So again, whether these things actually have occult properties to them or whether it's all just symbolic, these things are just representations of your desire. There are those two different ways of looking at it. Basically, each ingredient could represent your goal. You take your rosemary, your garlic, whatever. Focus on your intent. The main thing is to focus on your goal. And then either speak your intention over each item or pray over it if you're religious. Speak your intentions over your garlic or rosemary, whatever, and then put that in there. And then you take your next item. Focus on what this represents. Just like when making a bottle spell or a mojo hand, focus on each thing, speak your intentions to it. Focus on your intentions and place it there. If you're making cookies or whatever, you can carve little dollar signs or hearts, or you can make it in that symbol. So you can use color symbolism, you can use shapes and symbols in your cooking. The different spices that you use are believed to have occult properties. Once you have all this together, again, I make very little distinction between prayer and speaking your intent. One is just religious and one is just, either way. Once you have all your food, focus on your goals, speak your intention. So basically, you can use the different occult properties of different herbs, prayers, intentions, shapes, colors, whatever, as a way to infuse it with your intent. Okay? So, let's go over some practical examples. Now, one of the main concepts is having the occult properties of herbs and things like that. But let's forget about that for a minute. Let's for the moment say that any substance could represent anything. Let's say you have a morning cup of coffee. For the moment, let's forget the different spices and herbs. Let's say that your coffee could be love, money, whatever. Basically, you take your coffee, focus on your goal for the day. Now, this I would like to place as an exercise. I would like you to try it. So instead of just listening to these videos, learning about different traditions of occultism, take this and try it out. So, if you have morning coffee every day, or maybe you have daily tea, whatever. Take your coffee or whatever. Focus on your goal for the day. Focus on your goal. Hold your coffee in your hands. Pray over the coffee. Speak your intentions into it. You may visualize it being filled with the energy of your intention. So you can use color symbolism. Yes, it's just a symbol. It's a useful symbol set. Let's say you want to drive up sales and you're a salesman. You want to make money. You may visualize prosperity filling the cup as a vessel, as a green energy, because green's the color of money, growing things. Or let's say you want to be sexually attractive. You may see it filled with a red sexual seduction energy. Basically, hold your cup of coffee, focus on your goal, try to fill that coffee as a vessel with your intention. Fill it with love, fill it with prosperity, whatever. And then drink your coffee. And as you sip it, focus on being filled with this virtue. As you sip it, focus on being filled with this virtue. So as you drink it down, focus on being filled with this quality. Now, as a simple psychological tool, as a placebo, this could be used to bring forth different aspects of your psyche. Even as just a psychological game, or even as just a psychological exercise, you could see the placebo of bringing in being attractive or more assertive. So you're bringing out different aspects of your psyche through the medium of some physical object. So if people push you around, if people are always bullying you and pushing you around, and you want to be more assertive, you want to assert yourself more, you want to be dominant, powerful, that's connected to Mars. Basically, hold your coffee, focus on being filled with a martial type of assertiveness, power, energy. You may visualize it. Red is a color symbol representing Mars. So you don't have to use color, but sound and color and these things are useful in occultism as symbols. Focus in on being filled with that martial red energy of assertiveness and power. And as you sip it, believe, you have to have faith. Focus on being filled with assertion, being filled with power as you drink it down. Or for love, connected to Venus, you may focus on being attractive, focus on your coffee, being filled with beauty, drink it. As you sip it, focus on being more attractive, being more seductive, okay? So this is a way to switch on and off different aspects of your psyche at will. Let's say you want to transform your emotions through this physical medium. So there is the internal world of your inner life. The microcosm comes from two Greek words, microcosmos, the little world. And then you have the macrocosm, macrocosmos. Greek means greater world. So your internal life and external environment, the two are reflections of each other. So if you can create an interchange, then you're able to adapt and work with your environment more. So if you imagine a type of bubble or a circumference of a circle with a dot in the center, your sphere of influence affects your environment. So let's say you've been depressed or sad. I'm not saying to do away with conventional therapy, of course not. However, just try this out. If you're sad or depressed, say your mom just died. Well, that's a terrible example. My point is, say you're sad or depressed. Take your coffee, focus it on being filled with happiness, happy, positive energy. You may feel it pulsating with happy, positive vibrations. Visualize it. Speak your intention. And then sip your coffee. Focus on bringing in happiness more and more. Focus on bringing in this quality. So you can use this if you're upset. You can use it to calm your nerves. Focus on being filled with a calm, soothing energy. So you can work with this to transmute different emotions, or to boost your sales, to make more money, to be more attractive. So if you can change your internal universe, your microcosmos, your inner world, then this could affect at least through body language, at least through the power of belief, and placebo affect your external environment. And then of course you have the more supernatural view that this is a way to harness the powers of the universe, to harness if there is a connection between consciousness and matter to affect your environment. So, now that is just with your coffee. I would like you to try it out, you the viewer, as an experiment. But you have to have faith, you have to believe it in order for it to work. And then you get into actual cooking. Using the occult, if you want to get more complex, do your coffee. That's the simplest way to begin. Then if you want to get more complicated, look up the different occult properties of the herbs you use in cooking. So you can get prosperity herbs, make that, and you can make it into a dish or a drink using the occult properties of different herbs. You can incorporate timing, astrological timing. So you're combining the occult properties of herbs, timing, intention, visualization. A very simple way. I mean, there's so many ways to get your intention in there. You could stir it clockwise, which is geozal, it's sunwise. Very symbolic, while speaking your intention. There's so many things you can do. So basically, you take your food or drink, imbue it with your purpose, and then consume it. Think of it as a daily Eucharist, but a Eucharist of intent. Dedicate your food, dedicate your drink to the one aim that you're trying to achieve. And in this way, you may not only be giving yourself physical nourishment and sustenance, but sustenance of intention, sustenance of purpose. And in this way, you could apply these principles as a form of technology to the mastery of life. And as always, I encourage you to just try these out, be skeptical. I'm just giving the information. You try them out in your life. And that is a basic explanation of food and drink magic. So try it out. And as a reminder, new videos come out every Saturday morning. And if you enjoy my videos, and I talk about different magical perspectives. I speak from the more traditional end, the more psychological end. I talk about Hoodoo. I talk about Western Hermetic ceremonial magic traditions. I get into all different. So I try to look at all different perspectives. So in my videos, you'll see me speak from totally different angles so that you can get a whole picture. Okay? So that's that. So new videos come out every Saturday morning. If you enjoy my videos, then you can show your support by liking and sharing. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you this Saturday. So every Saturday morning. See you guys next week. Have a great day, everyone.